它关静音吧。
马友喜欢茶吗？
对，喜欢。
哇，太好了，老师泡茶很厉害。
你自己会泡茶吗？
泡茶 make the tea。泡茶，
在日本第一次还是第一个？
在日本，
在日本
泡茶一次或者2次。
对。
好。
要吃，你饿吗？
不然所以我中午饭吃2点。
你2点吃午饭，
吃的比较晚，所以肚子不饿。
现在不饿。OK， 好，没问题，那我们就开始喽。好 ，Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 大话 Chinese cultural sharing event number 20. Today we're going to share the story of tea, and here we have our guests, Andrews and Mayo, and of course our speaker of today, Miss Alice. She is the tea art specialist. Okay, before everything we start, I would like to introduce you about 大话 Chinese. So what is 大话 Chinese? 大话 Chinese is a startup company to make a better standing of each other and makes the world a better place. So, why we found 大话 Chinese? Because our founder, Caroline, when she taught in the US, and then she found the materials for nowadays for learning Mandarin is too old or too conservative, and she wants to create more interest and output Chinese learning material for the language learners. And what is 大话 Chinese? At the very first beginning, we would like to share the culture through a little tour around the city. However, by that time, we just held once, and then the pandemic, it's here. So we have to stop, and Caroline was start to consider what could she do to continue to fulfill her dream, which is to make better or more interesting material for the students. So that's why she started to make 大话 bi-weekly. And now we are holding our cultural sharing events every Monday. So what do we do? What do 大话 Chinese do? We do culture sharing events, and also we are building culture and language learning website. And of course, in the future, we would like to release our cultural courses. And this is the platform we are doing it now, and we're looking forward to that. And these are our team members: Caroline, our founder, our CEO, and Michelle, our co-founder, COO, and Jill, which is me, editor of Chef, and Tina, our marketing manager. Okay, now I will give the microphone to our speaker today, Miss Alice.
Okay, good evening, everyone, online or on site. Okay, when someone mentioned about China or Chinese people, okay, there are a lot of things that you can think of, but a lot of people they will think of one of the most important thing about the Chinese is tea. Okay, so when Caroline asked me to share some aspect of Chinese culture, and I think, okay, I'll share something, my knowledge about tea. Okay, so actually, there's a program for my sharing. Okay, so this is the first episode. Okay, so the first episode is talking about who discovered the tea, and also why is tea called cha in some countries and called tea or te in some other countries. I believe in Japan you call cha, something like that, right? Okay. Okay, so we will talk about that. And then what are other types of tea besides what we already know about the green tea or the black tea? Okay. And at the end, it's a special perk for people who are here today. We are going to taste 4 different types of tea, which is green tea, oolong tea, black tea, and dark tea. Okay, and then we can discuss the different flavors and which one do you like the most. Okay, okay. Okay, before I start my sharing tonight, I will introduce myself first. My name is Alice, and my Chinese name is Zhang Jiapei. My family name is Zhang. Okay, so as a living, I am the HR professional, so I work in companies. But my hobby, my interest is really in tea, and I obtained a certificate in TR specialist, and now I'm working on to be a tea evaluator. Okay, so and what is a TR specialist? I will touch that at the end of my sharing. Okay, so we should wait for your slides. Okay, while they're working on the technical problem, okay. So, what do you think when tea was discovered? Make a guess.
5,000 years ago.
Oh, you saw the cheat sheet. Yes. It was discovered about 2,700 years before Christ. Okay. So, who discovered the tea? We call, according to the legend, is someone named Shen Nong. Okay, so how he come about to discover the tea is that Shen Nong is known for they teach Shen Nong taught people how to cultivate plants, vegetables, and also taught medicine to the Chinese people. Okay, so while teaching, he also needs to test or to taste the plants unknown to him and to investigate the plant's nature and how can it heal people or it's just food. Okay, so while he was tasting 72 unknown plants' leaves, he got poisoned, and he was paralyzed and was resting under a tree. Okay, and suddenly a leaf was blown onto his mouth, and so he tasted the leaf, and suddenly he just felt refreshed. Okay, so he started to find this leaf and he found a tree, and then he tasted the baby leaves still on the tree, and then his symptoms was relieved. So that leaf is now what we call tea leaves. Okay. So that's the legend. That's 5,000 years ago. We don't have any written document to document the actual discovery of the tea. But if we are looking into history and some written documents, then we can find there's a person in 19 years before Christ. He wrote something about he's sending his servants to find tea to buy tea in the market, and then come back and cook the tea in the soup. So at that time, they drink the soup, not as the tea drink, what we do now. Okay, so it's cooking, it's not brewing. So that's about 100 years before Christ. And then in 1998, in China, there are a lot of historical sites. And a team of people, they discovered the Muslim of Emperor Han Jingdi. That's about 200 years before Christ. Okay, they found something looks like a leaf inside the tomb. Okay, so they collect the samples and sent to for some examination, and it came back confirmed those are the remains of the tea leaves. So that's another proof that about 200 years before Christ that people start drinking tea. Okay, so but still there was no written document to really document how people actually drink tea. So in the academic circle, they are more conservative. So they came to the conclusion that at least during the Three Kingdoms era period, people are taking teas as a daily drink. Okay, so that's about probably 200 years after AD. Okay, and then much later, we have a person named Lu Yu in the Tang Dynasty. That's around 700 AD. He wrote a book called Cha Jing, Tea Classics. So Cha Jing is the earliest known book on tea. So in his book, he wrote about how to process tea leaves to make it drinkable, and then how to brew the tea, how to appreciate the tea, and also he discussed about what water is best for brewing the tea, and also what kind of teaware they are using. Okay, so Cha Jing is the earliest documentation to document how we Chinese drink tea. Okay, so for Lu Yu, he also believed that tea is not only beneficial to the health, to our body, but also to our mind. Okay. So we talk about Shen Nong and then Lu Yu. Okay. So now we are in the 21st century. So who do you think who in the world drink the tea the most? Make a guess. Chinese, Japanese, Britain, British, or American? Who? Make a wild guess.
India.
Okay, Indian. And you, Mayo?
Britain,
British.
British.
Okay, and you?
India, or part of the British Empire.
Okay, the British Empire. Okay. Okay, before we go into tea is the second most popular drink in the world, next to water. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the production of the tea in the world now. China ranked the first, and then India the second. So China plus India, they produce about 60% of the tea in the world right now. Okay, and the most drank tea is black tea. Okay, but who drank the most? Look at this slides. So number one is Turkey. Actually, so this is based on the 2016 statistics. Okay, so the top five is Turkey, Ireland, the United Kingdom, Iran, and Russia. China, Japan. Oh, well, Japan is the 11th. So China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, who are known to drink tea, are not on the list. Okay, they are ranking about 18th or 20th. Okay, so this information surprised a lot of people. Whenever I do the presentation, I show this chart, and people will never thought Turkey will be the first. Okay, okay. So how did tea start from China and now spread to the world, and Turkey become the number one who drinks the tea? Okay. So we must talk about the Silk Road. Okay, it's a main trading routes. So export from China in the old times is silk, tea, porcelain, lacquerware, and then import from other world. It's like fruits, horses, gemstones, spices, that kind of thing. So it's a trade routes. And now you can see from the map, there are a lot of trade routes. So it's either from land or by the sea. Okay, and the trade routes is by section. So it's not really the goods are shipped from China all the way to Turkey or all the way to Arabia. No, there are sections. Okay. So so during the trade, what currency do they use? This is a difficult question.
Gold.
Rice, okay.
Gold.
What?
Gold.
Gold, okay. Anything else? Okay.
Silk.
That's right. Actually, the currency they use is silk. Come to think of it, because coins or gold is much heavier. Okay, so it's in the Tang Dynasty they use silk as a trading currency. Okay, and also it's in bulk, so it's difficult to be stolen because the gold nuggets are very small, or silver nuggets are very small, or coins are small. So it's very easy to be stolen. Okay, so in the Tang Dynasty, actually the kingdom pays the soldiers who guards the border with silk, and they use the silk to buy other things. Okay, so at that time the trading currency is really silk. But at that time, the roads are not called Silk Road. It's just a trading routes. Not until 1877 by a German geographer and historian. He coined the routes as Silk Road. Okay, so but in the ancient Greek, the word for China is really Ceres. Okay, so that means the land of silk. So as you can see from back date to the ancient Greek, they already know silk is from China. Okay, okay, this is the Silk Road map. Okay, so if the tea is traded, exported through the land, so those countries, they call tea as cha. Okay, Japan probably crossed the strait, but I will introduce why it's called cha in Japan, not like tea. Okay, because that's another story. And the tea was exported through the sea, then it's called tea or te because it's from the southern part of China. In the southern part of China, like Fujian, they call tea as te. Okay, so so in India, it's very special. They receive tea both from the north through the Silk Road land and also by the ships through the sea. So in the southern India, they call tea as tea, te. but in the northern India, they call tea as cha. Okay, so it's different. Okay, so it's very interesting. So if you travel in the world, you can see which country they call tea as cha. That's very interesting. Okay, so mostly we know tea as mild drink, 阿里山高山茶. Okay, and in Taiwan we have 乌龙茶、洞顶乌龙、东方美人、铁观音、文山包种. In China we have 黄山毛峰、龙井、普洱. These are very famous names of tea brands. Okay, so actually there are over 1,000 types of tea, but if we categorize them into 6 different varieties based on the process of oxidation or fermentation. Okay, so this is the process of tea, the general process. Okay, so in the morning we picking the tea leaves, and then we dry them under the sun or in or air dry in the room. Okay, and then the next step is fixing, which is back to sun dry and air dry. The process is really to oxidize the tea leaves. Okay, and fixing is that we want them to stop oxidizing. Okay, while we're stopping them oxidize is to secure their aroma at certain point that we want the aroma to be. Okay, and then after that we will rolling the leaves and then shaping the leaves as we can see now in the oolong tea is like a ball, or in some in the black tea it's like tea leaves, dried tea leaves. Okay, and then drying, packing. Okay, so this is the general process of how we process the tea leaves. And in this chart, based on different process, because some of the tea after picking immediately go to fixing. It doesn't go drying step. Okay, and some of the tea will do the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. So based on different steps they use, they are categorized into 6 different types of tea. So it's green, yellow, white, oolong, black, and dark. Okay, so which means tea leaves from one tree, based on different processing procedures, they can become 6 different types of tea, depending how you process the tea leaves. Okay, so then we take a look at the tea trees. In the center is tea plantation, what we usually know of. The tea plantation looks like. Okay, but those tea trees are very low. It's about to our waist level. Okay, and we are called them shrubs. Okay. So for those tea plantation, because the size of the amount of shrubs and also the quantity amount they can produce. Okay, so that's why many teas are produced through the tea plantations. But on the other side, we do have really tall tea trees, like the pictures on the sides. It's like in the forest. Okay, so these 2 types of trees or shrubs, their leaves can be made into teas, but the difference will be in their taste and also the things inside the tea which is good for our health is really different. Okay. Okay. This is the level of oxidation and fermentation of different teas. As you can see in the colors, on the left is really the green tea, and then on the right is the dark tea. So that's the level of oxidation or fermentation. On the green tea, it doesn't oxidize. Okay, so after picking, it immediately goes into the fixing step, and then packing, drying and packing. Okay, but for the oolong tea, which is in the center, a big range, it's actually going to hold the whole process and more complicated. Okay, and then for the the dark tea pour, what we called, as afterwards they are continue to ferment after we start packing. Okay, so the tea can be made into the tea leaves can be made into 6 different types of tea based on how we process them. Okay, in general, that is how we explain about tea. But of course, different types of tea tree, they are specialized. Particularly, probably this type of tea tree is particularly good to making black tea, and the others are good to make green tea. Okay, so there are variations of making different teas. Okay. So in the beginning, I introduced myself as TR specialist. Okay, so in Chinese, we think drinking tea is like a daily drink. Okay, I know a lot of young people, they don't drink water. They just drink bottled tea, okay, as their daily drink because they think water doesn't have any taste or tastes horrible, so they prefer tea. But other than it's a part of our life, it's also manifestation of the art of life. Why I say that? Because in Chinese we have 7 essential things in living, which is oil, sauce, tea, salt, vinegar, firewood, and rice, which is very essential in our daily life. But also there are 7 essential activities, leisure activities, like painting, calligraphy, music, wine, chess, tea, and poetry. So it's a part of our leisure activities as well. So you can see tea in the 7 essential daily life and also in the 7 essential leisure activities. So we call it tea art specialist, not like a very ritual tea ceremony, because it's a part of our daily life also. Okay, so now I just introduced about tea. So now it's the tea cupping time. I brought 4 types of tea today, which is green tea, oolong, black tea, and dark tea. Okay, so I'll pour the tea, and also you can have a taste of different types of tea, and then we can discuss any questions you have. You can see the color is really different. So that is for each of you. Probably you are the furthest. Oh, yes, yes. That means kowtow and thank you. But if you tap the table with the fingers or the knuckles, it's different. Okay. So for the knuckles, it's like you're really kneel on your knees. So that's for a more senior people. So if you're tapping on the fingers, it's like for friends. Okay. And we sometimes say, touch the wood. Wish you luck. Okay, so this is oolong tea. This is black tea. As you can see, the color, the green tea is lighter, and oolong is a little bit darker. Okay, and this is black tea, and this is dark tea. Okay. so it's the darkest. So as the level of oxidation or fermentation, the higher of the level, the darker the color is. So green tea is without oxidation, so you have the lighter color. Okay. So do you have any questions about the tea or what I talk about?
Is there like procedure before we taste the tea? Like we have to smell it first or do something? Is there?
Like I said, tea is a part of our daily life, so don't take it very seriously. Okay? Unless you are a tea evaluator or there's this precious type of tea that you want to taste, then you probably have smell it, look at the color, look at the tea leaves, okay, and then drink the tea. And then where I drink tea in the tea house, we have a ritual that for the first 3 cups, we don't talk. We just feel how the tea drinks runs in our body and also the taste in our mouth. Okay. So you want to try the oolong?
Yes. Is the order in which you drink the tea also important? Like you will drink green tea before you drink oolong or darker teas?
No. Usually it really depends on what tea you like. Like for me, I only drink pu'er tea, which is good for my stomach. If I drink green tea too much, my stomach will hurt. Okay. So it depends on people who, what kind of tea you like. Yeah. Okay. So taste.
Some people say they get tea drunk.
Oh yes, yes, that's right.
They drink too much.
Not necessarily too much, but mixed.
Makes
Yeah. For me, I'll get tea drunk when I mix teas. Yeah. Want to try?
What is that? What is tea drunk like? Like you really like get drunk, like dizzy?
Yes,
Or
yes. It's like drinking wine, too much wine.
Oh.
Yeah. Probably not, because it's not the amount that you drink is not that much, so I don't think so. But the last one is pu'er, which is really good for the body, so probably that will clear up.
So do you think pu'er has more health benefits?
They all have, yeah. But it's just because it's fully 100% fermented, so it's much better for my stomach. But some people don't like pu'er, so it really depends on what you like. And in Taiwan, we have oolong and black tea the most. Yeah.
For the darker ones, or does it matter which ones you can steep it many times?
Yes, yes. Well, it really depends on the quality of the tea. Sometimes the tea will only steep for 2 or 3 times, but some of them probably 10 times. So it really depends on the quality, like what I introduced about the tea plantation. If the tea are made from tea trees, it can be steeped for many times. But if it's from the tea plantation, the shrubs, then the steeping times will reduce.
And if the tree or the bush is older, does it also affect the brewing or how many times it can be steeped, or how does it affect how old
That's
it
a
is?
very, very good question. For the, as you know, you can pour yourself. As you know, the tree, how tall the tree or how tall the shrub is, how deep the roots are. Okay, so if the shrub is only about to our waist, then the roots is only about 100 centimeters, 1 meters deep. Okay, so the life cycle of those tea shrubs are very short. Okay, after 3 or 5 years, they will have to redo it. But for the tea trees, especially what I drink about the pu'er tea, the tea tree is as tall as 10 meters. So you can see how deep the roots are. So the energy from that tree is much higher than the tea shrubs. So actually, what we drink about oolong or the green tea, if it's from the tea plantation, what we are looking for is the aroma. Okay. And for the pu'er, you don't have a strong taste, but after you drink it, you feel very soothing. Yeah. So you have drank 3 different types.
Yeah.
Oh, and the fourth one. Then I will ask you, which one do you like the most?
This one is the
The oolong. Oh no, the black tea.
black. Okay.
Okay. So do you drink tea usually?
Yeah, more often than coffee.
Oh, really? That's good. Yeah. Well, in Taiwan, a lot of people have to drink coffee in the morning. The first drink in the morning, right, Jill?
Yeah.
Okay. And young people, they don't drink water. They drink bottled tea. Okay. So, and for them, they also drink coffee. So for tea, it's really that we need to promote more about the goodness of the tea and the right way to drink tea and how to appreciate them. Okay, the last one. Pu'er. Dark tea.
This tastes really special.
This taste will be different from what you had before. Okay. I hope you don't feel dizzy right now.
If you need Uber, just let me know, okay?
Usually I drink pu'er. I think not
It's not the same.
not same.
Not same.
Color is
Color is lighter?
Lighter.
Okay. Pu'er has 2 types. Okay. Yes, 2 types, as now I can say. One is more towards like green tea. The taste, the color is more like green tea. And the other one is what we call 熟普. 成熟的普洱. 熟成的普洱. It's like we have after process to make it age quickly. Usually for pu'er, it's like the green tea, and then we just store it in the storage and let the time to age the tea. Okay, so usually we drink pu'er is after 20 or 30 years, but in the 1970s in China, they discovered a special technique to age it quickly. So now we can just drink the aged pu'er. 熟普 is what we call my term, aged pu'er. Okay, so usually the pu'er's processing is very close to green tea. Okay, we just let it stand for 20 or 30 years. Yeah.
So you prefer to drink sheng pu'er?
No, I prefer to
Shou?
熟普. Well, both is okay, but usually I drink 熟普.
It's more
Yeah.
accessible, I guess.
More accessible. Okay. So Andres, which one do you like?
They all are good.
They're all good. So which one have you not drink before?
I think I tried all of them. Types.
Oh,
Mm,
okay.
mm, I guess green one is the best for me from this, then black tea, then pu'er, and then oolong cha.
Oolong, okay. Why do you like the green the most?
Well, this one is quite tasty.
Ah, okay. I will tell you what that type tea is okay, later. And Mayo?
I like pull up. Green tea is smell good,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't taste. I understand.
You don't like the taste? Or
No.
Taste is very light.
Very light.
Oh,
yes.
very light.
So I like more stronger. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And you?
I would say the I guess the red tea or the black.
Black tea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's also some people say it's red or black. I guess it depends.
Well, usually people call it black tea, but of course in the category we call it red tea. Okay, but this black tea is special. It's from Qimen in China. So the most famous three different types of black tea is Assam red tea, Darjeeling black tea, Assam black tea, and also Qimen black tea. And today I just brewed the Qimen black tea. So it tastes different, very different from Assam and Darjeeling. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So do you have any other questions?
I hear pu'er and oolong is with dinner.
With dinner.
With dinner, because two is oil very
Okay. I think all the tea are good to accompany with food. Okay, because the nature of the tea is really to help you to digest. Okay, so not necessarily just oolong or pu'er. I think green tea is also very good. It has a lot of enzymes. Okay, and the black tea, the most people drink black tea in the world, so they must have something good to the health. Okay, so it's not necessarily just oolong or pu'er. Okay, yeah, it really depends on how you take the tea. Like for my husband, he likes pu'er, 小普, okay, and he drink that all the day. But in the evening, he wants something lighter, so he drinks oolong. Okay, but for me, I can only drink a little bit of oolong because it's very light in oxidation or fermentation. So I will feel not good if I took too much. If I drink too much, yeah.
How do you choose your tea? Is it based on how you feel, or I guess it's a preference just of yourself with how it smells and how it feels, or do you only choose loose leaf kind of teas, or I guess pu'er is kind of in like a cake, right?
Yeah,
Um,
this.
And do you like look at how the leaves are after you brew it and this kind of thing?
Yes, right before you came, I introduced myself as that I'm working on to be a tea evaluator. So during the training, we have to take a look at the tea leaves, dry leaves, and also after brewing, the red leaves. Okay, so see their leaves and see the color. Okay, so when choosing the tea, it's really, of course, you want to see the tea. If the tea, you can see the entire leaf which means it's hand-picked. Okay, so that must be good. But if you see a lot of little pieces, probably it's picked by machine. Okay, which is not common in Taiwan. In Taiwan, we mostly hand-picked. Okay, so so we'll take a look at the tea leaves itself, but mostly we need to drink and taste. Okay, so how do you like the taste, the aroma, or how it forms the aroma in your mouth or in your nostrils? Yeah, so you really have to try different types of teas and which one you like. Okay, and in Taiwan we have different types of oolong. We have Gaoshan Cha, that's high in the mountains, like the elevation is above probably 1200. Okay, and then Dongding Oolong probably is about 800 in elevation. Okay, and we have Wenshan Baozhong, which is in Muzha. That's about, I don't know, 300, 400 in elevation. And also, no, Wenshan Baozhong 在平陵, so it's about 200 or 300. And then 铁观音在木栅 猫空, so it's about 300 to 500. Okay, so at different elevation, you plant different type of tea trees, and the process also counts and make them into different types of oolong tea. Okay, so it really depends on how much you like. Like Dongfang Meiren is about 80% of oxidation, but for Wenshan Baozhong, probably it's only 10 or 20. Okay. So it really depends on what kind of taste and aroma that you are looking for. Yeah.
How about rock tea? Is that even higher elevation?
Rock tea, you mean in China, 大红袍, 岩茶.
I'm not sure, but I just heard it's called rock tea. I guess because it maybe will grow with rocky soil.
Yes, yes, that's right. I'm not sure if there's rock tea in Taiwan. There might be, but I know it's in China. Okay, 武夷岩茶. The elevation, I'm not sure, but it's also up in the mountains. Yeah.
So that's why I imagine it's very high.
Yeah.
But,
But the rock tea, it has about probably 20 or 30 different types of rock tea, so they probably scattered everywhere. Yeah.
and
Okay.
some tea is in tea bags. Do you know why they choose to put it in tea bags or having it in like loose leaf or like in a can, or how they?
I'm not sure if I say this is politically correct or not. Okay, for the tea farmers, it's really very strenuous work. Okay, they have to plant the tea tree, to take care of the tea tree and everything. So they after they pick the tea leaves and process, they will use every bit of the tea leaves. So the larger one, the nicer one, they will make into loose tea, put it in the can. And the older leaves or smaller leaves, which is not good, they probably cut into small ones and then bag it. So that's one thing. And the second thing is that because most people are not very experienced in steeping or brewing tea. They don't know how much tea, how many grams of tea, using how much cc's of water. So using a tea bag is more convenient for people. And also brewing tea, you need a teapot and also cups and everything. Okay, but for the tea bag, you just need a mug. Okay, so it's much easier and quicker. Yeah.
And I think for, I guess, the different teas, you would also use different temperatures, right, and different lengths of time that
Yeah,
you steep
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So I imagine the ones that are darker, like Cora, you would steep it for less time. Is that correct? Or?
Well, actually, for the pu'er tea, I boil them.
Oh, you boil them.
Yeah, I boil them in the copper teapot. So I boil them for 20 minutes. Okay. And for the black tea, sometimes I boil them as well. In the summer, I boil them and then let it cool down and then put in the fridge. So it's a very nice drink. And of course, for the green tea and for the oolong tea, in the summer we can just put it in the cold water and just steep it. Okay. But using the hot water, yes, it's less time. Yeah. Especially for the green tea, it's less time. Otherwise, it will taste very bitter. Yeah. And also the temperature of the water is a bit lower, about 85 degrees. Yeah.
I'll help myself to some more.
Please, please.
Which one was the black tea?
The black tea is this one. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Emma, for today. I think that's all, and we know more about the teas, 绿茶, oolong cha,
红茶,
红茶,
pu'er cha.
pu'er cha, and hong cha is actually red tea in Chinese. However, in English we say black tea. Okay, so thank you for coming and thank you for joining us online. We will see you next time. Bye.